everybody. Welcome to Your Full Crew podcast. We are live at the Energy Drone Robotics Coalition Summit. This is the 8th annual, and this stream, by the way, is sponsored by Valmont. And we've got Jake Lawman here with us from Valmont to kick the show off. And tell us a little bit about yourself first, Jake.
Yeah, you bet, Don. Jake Lawman, I'm the business line manager for infrastructure services at Valmont.
All right, good. And you know this is live because like my camera does crazy things. It's an AI camera.
Yep.
And I'm going to lock it in. All right. So very good. Very good. All right. So you've been here before. We met here, in fact.
Yes.
Was it like 2 years ago?
Maybe 3. Time passes.
I think you're right. So why do you keep coming back to this show, Jake?
This show is great for the technology and how it's applied not only to the energy, that's the main topic of the conference, but also many other industries like utility, telecommunications, transportation, industries that I'm deeply involved in. So this is a perfect place to be.
Well, given that you've been coming back year after year, what have you seen or heard this year that might be a little bit different from years past?
Yeah, two things I would say. One, obviously the topic of the day is NDAA compliance. There's a lot more opportunities in the way of technology to be compliant here at the show, which is great for everybody here in the States.
Absolutely.
And then I'd say the other big thing is technology that's specialized to really make end users happy, involved in asset management and in engineering, which is very dear to my heart.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are you the most excited about that you've seen?
Aircraft-wise, I love seeing the hybrid technology here at the show.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend more time later today looking at that. That is very promising, to really it's a fulfillment that a lot of us dronies have had for a long time.
Yeah.
Even an option to manned aviation and longer endurance. And we got several great examples here at the show.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen gas. I've also seen hydrogen.
Yes.
Which, not a lot of those guys running around, honestly. Yep. I saw 2 at Amsterdam. I know Heaven Drones in Israel does hydrogen, but not a lot of like hydrogen focused folks. So pretty cool to see that. All right. Well, how can people reach you? How can they learn more about Valmont?
Yeah, Valmont.com or ValmontAerialSolutions.com. You can hit us up there. You can reach me personally at LinkedIn. Easy to find there. Just type in Jake Lawman. I'm the only guy on LinkedIn there. And be happy to converse with you.
And by the way, fun fact, Jake is going to be on the Dawn of Autonomy podcast next month during Global Leaders Month. So you will see him there. Tune in to that show. It's going to be amazing. So great to have you. And thanks again for your sponsorship. Always awesome to see you.
Thank you.
All right. Very good. Yep. We're going to get Sean Gare up next. Yep. So Sean, we got you up next. Here he comes. He's walking over. So this man is very busy. He's actually running this show and doing a spectacular job of it. As always, Sean was just recently on the Dawn of Autonomy. Yes. We did do a reset on that one. That was a little weird, but all good. If you missed it, go back and check that one out. So, Sean, those that don't know you, the 2 people that are out there that don't know you, tell them who you are.
I'm sure they got an email from me at some point.
Probably.
But, Sean Gare, I'm director of the Energy Drone Robotics Coalition, and fortunate enough to have done that the last 8 years that the coalition's been built. So excited to be here with you, Don, and excited to be, of course, here at our annual summit as well.
Yep, started out with like 100 folks, and now here we are in year 8, and it's 1,500, I think you said, during the keynote, and all kinds of different topics happening, all kinds of incredible technologies from crawlers to humanoid robots, by the way, are here. They are here. We've got, of course, the spot dogs running around and tons of drones and sensors, and you name it, they're here. So, Sean, as you reflect on the last 8 years and you're looking around your floor and you're listening to the content that you've been able to curate for this show, what are the top 3 things that you would say kind of jump out as new and different?
So I'd say number one, and is one of the most interesting, is how much people are talking about and the solutions that are out there around the data. I mean, it's incredible.
All about the data, folks.
Making data actionable and how many internal stakeholders these companies have. Surveying, mapping, inspection, regulatory. There's an awful lot of people that are now keyed into the sensors and what they can deliver. And so I'd say that's number one by
for
far.
Sure.
People are needing to make their data actionable, and they have a lot of it to handle workflows. Number two is interoperability. Everybody's talking about some of the larger energy companies and asset owners here working with 20, 30 vendors for all different parts of their program. How do they make all that work? And on a global basis in some cases, or at least in multiple assets and facilities. So as the programs have scaled, the challenges have scaled, and they're looking for interoperability. So I'd say that's another big piece of the puzzle. Third, by far, is there's a lot of excitement on the panel that you were kind enough to work with, BB Loss, and there's a lot going on around methane and obviously emissions detection. So the regulatory, both pro and con, depending on where you sit, there definitely is a lot going on there, and I think it's driving the business.
Yeah, absolutely. So year 9, around the corner. I know we're not done this one yet. Actually, by the time this streams, we will be. But what are we thinking for next year? Bigger, better?
Yeah, I think so. As the industry grows, we grow. It's that simple. So as there's more and more robots, ground, submersibles, everything that flies, as those continue to build use cases and there's more and more people who are proponents of them in companies, I think we're going to have more content and we're going to have more exhibitors showcasing solutions. So we'll be back for year 9 in June in Houston, Texas.
All right, woohoo! All right, in the meantime, how do they find you and how can they follow you?
Sure, go to edrcoalition.com. You can get all our resources. So you can see sessions that were happening right here. Those will be up next week. Benchmark reports, our resources, anything that would help you in order to expand your program or find the tech and people that you need as far as solution providers.
All right, awesome. By the way, AI is something people are talking about. And once again, my AI camera, because I am half Italian and I wave my hands around, I keep triggering this thing. See, it's following me.
Following you.
So I just locked it in so it won't go crazy. I'm going to sit on my hands now. And I'm going to thank you, Sean, once again for having us here at EDR. You're such a great partner, and we love this show. So keep coming back every year. And guys, if you're not here this year, you need to put it on your calendar for next year. Absolutely. Just an incredible show. So thanks again, Sean.
Thank you, Don. We love working with you.
All right. And I'm not even going to shake your hand because I'm literally sitting on
her hand. Cheers.
All right.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. We've got Bruce is up next. And Bruce is with Leica Geosystems. And I met your team, by the way, I'm going to say at GeoWeek in Denver a couple years ago.
Yes.
And I fell in love with your whole BLK ecosystem, product line. You know, they got a handheld scanner. They've got this really cool drone. They've got scanners you can put on dogs, all kinds of things. Bruce, tell them your name, your full name, your job title, and what Leica Geosystems does.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you for the invite. I really appreciate it. My name is Bruce Powditch with Leica Geosystems. We're actually a Hexagon-owned company. Today I'm representing our reality capture products. In specific, we have many different reality capture 3D laser scanners. Obviously, the digital twin, that's been a buzzword for a long time. Still waiting for that new buzzword yet.
Yeah, that's right.
But
Still digital
kind of
twin.
Yeah, exactly. This is the currency where it begins. But today, and at this show, we're actually highlighting our mobile units and more of the autonomous units. So, like I said, we've got our handheld and with our BLK Fly, which is a fully integrated, not just a payload.
Yes.
And we have the BLK Arc, which is actually autonomous reality capture. That's where it really plays well in this space. We're actually agnostic with many different robotic systems. We include drones. We partner with Boston Dynamics, for instance, with Ghost Robotics, many other quadrupeds that are even here at the show.
They are.
So with providing more of the autonomous, the path planning, you can set up a different system. So with a lot of our owner operators that are here, the discussions have been phenomenal, off the charts. To even kind of catch you in one of the probably questions you're going to ask me is, what do I see the most here?
Yeah, what are you seeing the most? What are you seeing the most here, Bruce?
What we're seeing is I like to see a lot of collaboration. I mean, from last year, now I actually can point at different companies that here, knowing that they're partnering with, and talking just this morning before the show floor opened up. Many of our oil and gas customers are here. We had many discussions, and it's been great for people that we met last year with technologies that are actually servicing the same company, and now we're partnering together and to provide them a complete solution. So to see that come forward, and this year has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
So like Don said, get here next year for sure. It's been phenomenal. It's a lot of great content.
Yeah, I think we're seeing the collaborations as part of the maturing of the industry and these use cases. So I think that's really important. By the way, fun fact, Leica Geosystems will be on the Dawn of Autonomy in December. They are sponsoring the Best of 2024. So excited to have you on that show. And, so as you're, walking around, what are you the most excited about to see?
It's never, I think the most excited coming from my world with the autonomous and the LiDAR, now we're able to help these different payload robotics. I don't care if it's, you see the humanoid walking around.
Yep.
You see actually other different platforms, but now they're integrating even more so where they're talking drones lifting from other payload systems. And it's more of the one all, do all. If it's out there, whether you're at a refinery or wherever you may be working, why not have it collaborate, be more autonomous? Just the amount of increase in attendance has been awesome.
Yeah, it has been. Yeah, absolutely.
Haven't been able to attend any of the talks yet, but I'm slated to listen in on a few of them. But been busy.
Well, I'll tell you what, you missed a phenomenal one on Beyond Visual Line of Sight yesterday. I'm just saying. And there was actually, honestly, not sucking up to Mir McNabb, who's going to be on the show here in a second, one of the best explanations I've heard from anywhere about the Chinese drone bans and some of the rationales behind that. Just a breath of fresh air and just kind of reasonableness that I haven't heard in some of the debates lately from the stage this morning with some of the folks there. So get out there, see some of this content,
Absolutely.
Bruce. Get out from behind the desk and the booth. And thanks for joining us.
You are more welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
I'll see you
See
later.
ya. All right. Great.
Thanks.
All right. We've got Brent now coming. Brent Clavon from ANRA Technologies, by the way, was on that incredible panel with me. I moderated it, but it was all about the panelists, and he was one. So, Brent, tell everybody who you are and what you do at ANRA.
Thanks, Don. Brent Clavon. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer at ANRA Technologies. And ANRA is a software company. We help create the digital highways in the sky, but we also have a fleet management capability. So we're unique in that we take the ability to manage your drone program, maintenance involved, pilot training and tracking of all those resources and assets. But we couple our airspace management capability that we've been working on for a long time with the FAA and NASA and really internationally. So we're here as looking for our customer base to speak to our existing customers and prospect for new customers.
Well, I saw your team out at Amsterdam Drone Week, if I recall correctly. And by the way, at CES, because they partner with Supernal.
That's right.
So not just drones, but advanced air mobility. And these guys are out there globally doing great stuff. So really an honor to have you on the stream here, Brent. First time, by the way, I interviewed him was a couple years ago for an AUVSI preview edition for Inside Unmanned Systems magazine. And I knew back then that, like, not only was this guy amazing, but so was the company that he worked for. So you were on the panel Beyond Visual Line of Sight. The folks watching this probably didn't get a chance to see it. As you reflect on the panel that we had, what do you think is one of the most important takeaways about Beyond Visual Line of Sight for critical infrastructure that people should know about?
Internationally, we're seeing an inflection point in the industry. In the United States, domestically, there's some signals. I've been in the business for a long time, but I'm finally starting to see the pivot away from research and development to really making BVLOS routine and normal instead of by exemption or waiver.
Now, by the way, normally I do a little hand raise here, but I'm afraid if I do, the camera's going to get checked out. So I'm doing a whoop. Okay, whoop, whoop.
and so that's very exciting because we've been chipping away at this problem for a long time, and it's not just ANRA. There's been a lot of stakeholders, the FAA, NASA, many people in this room. You've been covering it excellently, Don, over the years. But what we're seeing now is the FAA Reauthorization Act has a lot of information and a lot of directive language in there to the FAA and others to do certain things that it's pointing to what I believe is going to be one of the key enablers, which is airspace management.
Yes.
And as an airspace management company, that's really exciting for us because we want to enable not only this industry, but all industries that want to really improve their return on investment in the drone program, to be able to go beyond visual line of sight and do the things that they really want to do with this hardware and software and technologies, these sensors that are in this really nice show that we're seeing today.
Yeah, absolutely. So how can people reach you, find you, learn about ANRA?
I'm on LinkedIn, Brent Clavon, Klavon, and at ANRAtechnologies.com. So we're the only ANRA technologies out there. So please shoot me a note. Love to talk to you.
All right, very good. This man's got to catch a plane. He's been chomping at the bit to get on the show, so I'm going to get you out of here, but it was so great to see you again.
Thank you, Don.
Yeah,
Always a pleasure.
absolutely. All right. I'm going to go out of order. I'm going to take Miriam McNabb first, like mix it up. You know, one of the, I think, 4 or 7 women at this entire show besides me. So Miriam, as always, great to have you. Miriam is the leader of DroneLife.com. If you haven't subscribed to it, you need to do that. Great stuff coming out of Miriam and her newsletter every day, every week, every day on the daily. So first of all, how can they subscribe? Let's tell them that up front.
DroneLife.com. Just
that
head
easy.
over.
That easy.
DroneLife.com.
There you go.
That's
All right.
great.
So Miriam, is this your first time at the show, or have you been here before?
I have been here before. I do think that this is the biggest show that I've been here before. But it's so interesting because what I love about this is that it's all about the use cases. It's all about heavy industrial use cases, just people using drones to improve their ROI and do great stuff.
Yeah, it's so hyper-focused. What I love about Sean Gare and EDR is he's always been laser locked on his mission, you know, and hasn't like muddied it down with, you know, going squirrel on other things.
No.
But yet the mission has grown because, you know, by necessity as the industry starts scaling, as we've talked about. So Miriam, you know, I gave a pitch earlier. You did an incredible job moderating this panel this morning. It was Lone Star Drones, if I recall correctly,
Right.
and Teledyne FLIR were the 2 individuals on the stage with you, talking about, you know, how to scale your business and anticipate what could be coming down the pike in terms of Chinese drone bans. And, you know, great job, by the way. So you had a couple takeaways at the end, and you're probably doing an article about it, I'm sure. But can you just tell folks, like, the 3 biggest takeaways you had from that discussion?
Yeah, I think that the thing to talk about is really not whether or not this is a good thing or a bad thing or it's fair or it's unfair, because
Right.
that's...
Yeah, we're past that.
We're just talking
The
about
law is the
what's
law,
happening.
right.
We're talking about what's happening. And, you know, I don't think DJI is trying to do anything there except for sell drones.
Yes.
You know, this is not really about this. It's geopolitical movements,
Yes.
many of which have nothing to do with the drone industry. But I think that the takeaways are that this is happening. If you look at the timeline that I laid out today,
Yep.
you know, you can see that it is independent of political party. It's independent of current administration. It's not down to one particular federal agency. It's really throughout the U.S. government.
It
So
is. And states, as you said.
Right.
Yeah.
So these laws are really proliferating. They were at one point sort of limited to federal agencies. That's no longer really the case as they sort of continue to evolve. So
Absolutely.
first takeaway is just this is happening. Second takeaway is what can you do about it, because your risk is not, it's not all about cybersecurity. It's about the risk to your continued operations, to your ability to just continue working seamlessly. And so, you know, I think that it does make sense for people to look at diversifying their fleet now.
Yeah.
You know, getting people trained up on different products, thinking about their ecosystem partners and seeing, you know, can we have some diversity there? And the third thing is just to, you know, start slowly before there's an issue. So,
Yes.
because it does happen over years. Is this year? Who knows?
Yep.
Is next year? Whatever. But
Yep.
but to be sort of insurable and robust and in line with your risk mitigation systems, diversification is always a good idea.
Well, it is. And as we would say in the military, hope is not a plan. You know what I'm saying? Like, look,
That's
there is
right.
a reality out
That's
there,
right.
whether you agree with it or not. Law is law is law.
Right.
And so unless that law changes, and sure, go ahead, do what you can to change it. But like, you need to plan for, what could occur.
Right.
And I think that was some of the best advice I've heard in a long time, from your team there on the stage. Great job. So real quick, you've been walking around. What's the one thing that jumps out at you, Miriam, as you've kind of walked the floor? You've been here before, you're here now. What would you say has changed?
So for years and years, I've been writing articles about when we're going to scale in the industry.
Yeah.
And I honestly am so heartened to hear about these industrial programs that really are operating at a much greater scale
Yeah.
than we have seen previously.
Yes.
And that's due to all the ecosystem pieces being in place, the AI capabilities, the data management capabilities, the airspace management, the relationships with the FAA, those things happening. So we really are seeing scale.
Yay.
So exciting.
It is exciting. It is exciting. All right. So dronelife.com, that's how they sign up. How else can they learn about you, Miriam, or what you're doing to follow you?
I am on LinkedIn and I am easy to find. I'm editor at dronelife.com. Very simple. Always interested to see what happens next and talk to everybody.
All right. Very good. Well, thanks again, Miriam.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
so
taking
much.
the time. Appreciate
Always
you.
fun.
All right.
Take
Very
care.
good. All right. We've got 3 guys up next. They're all lined up. They're chomping at the bit. I am actually going to pick Britt because number 1, it's his booth, and he's been waiting this whole time. Number 2, he's got to get on the stage soon. So the other 2 guys are like, but you don't worry, they'll be here soon. Britt Wanick is from UAvionics. My camera's doing more crazy things. All right, we're locking it in again. Woohoo! I love this AI camera, like when it works, right? All technology's great when it works. Speaking of technology, UAvionics was on the show just recently, sponsoring the month of Complex Ops, and you guys have a lot of technology in your deck. We're not going to go through all that here, but look, Britt, you're here at this conference.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, certainly we are in the space of doing beyond visualized sight, and scaling that for operations is key to the energy industry and utilities in general. So a lot of our customers are here, a lot of our partners are here. We have a little panel we're doing this afternoon where we're talking about both, so I'm excited about that. And this is really an area where we're starting to see enterprises operationalize, that's a lot of big words,
Yep.
all the things that we're trying to produce in the unmanned space. And so whether it's GPS devices or command and control or detect and avoid, the entities that are part of the industry are putting those into use today, and they're making efficient operations out of it, saving dollars, protecting the environment, all the things that they need to do on a regular basis.
Yes.
They're using UAS to be able to do that. And so it's a great place to be, to connect with them, to understand what their challenges are, and really see how they're putting our products into play, make sure we're delivering the right things.
And clearly we're at the UAvionics booth as we speak. And by the way, some great swag, a little charger, all kinds of things here. Look at this. He's got like a
Multi-tool.
multi-purpose tool on a, what do you call these things?
It's a parachute cord.
But you can MacGyver, I'm dating myself now. MacGyver could unwrap this and use it as a tourniquet if necessary.
There you go.
And hopefully it won't come to that here. But okay, so Britt, your job title and UAvionics 30-second pitch on that.
So I'm the VP of Marketing. UAvionics is in 4 different business units, right? We handle obviously the uncrewed space, or UAS, and that's what we're here to talk about today. We're also in the general aviation space, so we are the leading provider of ADSB products for people that fly aircraft for themselves and enjoy flying it on the weekend, not so much the commercial side.
Yep.
We operate in defense as well, so we've been able to transfer those technologies into the defense market and help essentially deploy transponders, or what we call Node 5 IFF, identify friend or foe. And then very recently, we also help airports identify where aircraft are, both cooperative and non-cooperative. There's a program we just launched called the Surface Awareness Initiative. Say that fast, right?
Surface Awareness and
yeah,
and it is.
Yeah, it's tough.
Surface Awareness Initiative.
Yeah, we'll just say SAI.
Okay, that's easier.
And SAI is designed to help airports be able to identify aircraft and ground vehicles and avoid collisions.
Okay.
And so it's something we're doing with them is rolling out across about 250 different airports potentially in the U.S. And so some very exciting things there. What's great about that technology is FAA will be using it in the control towers. It will also allow us to build out a capability that we can then use for things like drone coordinates, for last mile delivery. And so it's a very good synergy between what we're doing in the crewed aviation space and what we're doing in the uncrewed aviation space.
Awesome. So how can they reach you? How can they find you?
Well, you can go to www.uavionics.com, certainly, or squawk@uavionics.com. We'll send an email directly into us, and certainly look for us here at the EDR show. And then our next big general aviation event will be up in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, where we go to AirVenture, the largest air show in potentially the world, and certainly the U.S. is coming up this summer in July, and we're looking forward to that as well.
I need to get there at some point. I heard it's kind of a nightmare to fly in there and then to get housing unless you book a year out. I don't know if all that's true, but it's been a little bit of a detractor for me, but I heard it's amazing. So I'm glad you're there. Will you guys be a commercial UAV also?
We will be a commercial UAV.
All right,
we'll also
sweet.
be at DroneX over in Europe in September as well.
Okay, sweet. And once again, if you missed this show, check it out. Brought into great detail on all of these different products and services that UAvionics is offering. This man's got to get on a stage. He's got important things to do. So great to have you. Awesome.
Thank you very much.
And thanks for letting us squat in your booth. We only have about maybe 6 more minutes because we got 2 more guys. And speaking of 3-letter acronyms, PAU, Phoenix Air Unmanned. You may have heard of these guys. And we've got James Seaplack. Did I say this right?
Yep, Seaplack.
Okay, Seaplack. So James was on the stage with me at the Beyond Visual Line of Sight panel. And tell them what your job title is at Phoenix Air Unmanned and what you guys do.
Okay, so Jim Seaplack, I'm the Director of Business Development for Phoenix Air Unmanned. We're a service provider with higher-end remotely piloted aircraft and UAS and higher-end sensors and providing it to the electric utility industry, and we're now breaking into the oil and gas industry.
Well, for those that have been tracking waivers for Beyond Visual Line of Sight, which, by the way, that's why he was on the panel, these guys were one of the 4 waivers that the FAA published in the Federal Register, so you can use them as basically a template for getting your own waiver approved, and most recently got this groundbreaking waiver for a 200-pound helicopter-like aircraft. Tell us about this.
Okay, so we got the Part 91 exemption for a 200-pound Swiss drone helicopter that we can fly over linear infrastructure throughout the whole national airspace system. Our parent company, Phoenix Air Group, flies business jets and specialty operations, so we brought that manned aviation background down into the remotely piloted vehicle arena, coordinated across with the FAA and the safety and airworthiness. And yes, got that first of its kind exemption. Now it is published again on the Federal Register.
Federal Register, yeah.
And with that, you can get summary exemptions from it, and it really pioneered the use of infrastructure shielding, masking, so flying close to those utility lines or that oil and gas infrastructure to mitigate the risk with manned aviation.
Amazing. So I'm going to ask you what I've been asking almost everybody that's been on the show so far. Not your first rodeo here. You've been walking around. What are you seeing that gets you the most excited here? Other than obviously the cool Swiss drone in your own booth. What else?
I'm going to say, actually, I haven't had that much time walking around.
Yeah, you've been tied to your booth. Yeah.
Been at the booth, and a lot of people, and it's the customers. It's the oil and gas industry.
Yeah, they're
the decision makers that are here.
Yeah, I think that's what makes this show very different in some respects than other shows, which are a lot of B2B, right? Business to business. The clients are here. The customers are here. Chevron is walking around. Exxon, the big oil and gas companies, the power line folks. The power companies, they're here.
Yep.
And I think that's what makes this a really unique event. Would you agree?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Totally agree with that. And having those customers come up to us, but also the sessions. that I've been able to go to a couple of them.
Yeah.
But educating me and Phoenix Air on the needs of the customer and how we can use drones, UAS, and the other sensors here to help out with the industry and detect those leaks and just better, safer, faster to help out the utility and oil and gas industry.
Exactly. So how can people find out more about Phoenix Air Unmanned, and how can they reach you?
Yep, so phoenixairunmanned.com. Button at the bottom that says contact us, that actually goes directly to me.
All right.
So,
well, now you know the guy,
right there.
the Oz behind the curtain, if you will, when you hit that contact button. So, well, thank you so much, Jim. Great to have you.
Okay,
all right. And last but certainly not least, he's been very patiently waiting, Rich Schutte from Percepto. So when you think about beyond visual line of sight and you think about inspections, the term Percepto should come to mind because you guys have been doing groundbreaking stuff for a while now with your drone in a box solution. So first of all, hello, and tell everybody who you are and what your role is at Percepto.
So my name is Rich Schutte. I'm from Percepto. I'm currently the sales engineer, and then I also lead their technical side on the oil and gas operations.
Okay.
Specifically, optical gas imaging.
All right, very good. Now you've got a background in this, right? This isn't your first gig using drones or like in the O&G or energy space?
I do. It's been about 8 or 9 years of doing optical gas imaging, so it's really exciting coming here. I'm seeing one right ahead of us.
Yep.
Actually seeing those payloads make some traction in the business.
Now, Percepto is doing something unique, I think, in this space. You're really all about autonomy and that solution. And I know your vision is one to many in the future. Tell us a little bit about this journey.
Yeah, so what we're currently doing right now, I'm actually just watching a couple flights a couple minutes ago, is we're having our pilots sit in Miami and fly drones that are based in the Permian Basin. So no operator actually physically visits that site every day. They operate fully from Miami. And what we're doing is helping those companies offset their inspection rounds and using that optical gas imaging. We're at that current one-to-many currently, but what we're going to do in the future is expand that as we scale up.
All right, very, very cool. Now, obviously, you've got a lot of great stuff going on at Percepto, but there's a lot of companies here. So as you've been walking around and talking to people, what kind of jumps out at you as you've watched the industry kind of evolve over the last couple of years, and this show in particular?
So this show, it's like, I'll echo what James said before, it's the right customer mix for us.
Yeah.
So it's hitting all those major, super majors we want to talk to, all the utility customers we want to talk to. Me personally, seeing those advanced payloads starting to come through.
Yes. I learned all about Corona, which not just the beer, my friends, that you put a lime in. It's that thing that like where the electrons are eking out of the transmission wires and wasting a lot of money and causing environmental and other issues. So there's like special sensors for that here that people are putting on drones and robots and all kinds of things.
There are. It's been really interesting to see that, and I think that's evolved over the past couple of years.
I would agree.
How this conference works.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you're our anchor, my friend. So I'm going to give you the last 30 seconds here to kind of give any concluding remarks as we close out the show.
Okay, well, thank you for the time.
Of course.
It's been very good. I think the panel was also great as well.
Yeah.
But really excited to see where this industry goes. It's been really great. If you want to get in touch with me or Percepto, it's percepto.co, not .com.
.co.
Yeah,
Good.
.com is an us, so that's
yes.
a cool issue there.
Yep.
Or on LinkedIn, Rich Schutte, or richard@percepto.co.
Okay,
Thank
awesome.
you for the time.
Of course. Great to see you. All right, take care. Well, everybody, that is all she wrote. Great show. We are out here, and hopefully next year we will see you here live.